The following Movie Man Chad review is based on a true story. As I said before in a previous review, if you watched my Apparition review, I really like horror films. But The Apparition is a good example why a lot of people think horror films are very silly. This new movie called The Possession, which stars Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Kira Sedgwick, and yes, Modest Yahoo. Yes, Modest Yahoo's. Yeah, he's in it. I don't know if this is his first ever performance ever on screen, but Modest Yahoo is in this film. When this movie first started, I thought this movie was going to be centered in the 1970s. Then when they started using some cell phones, I knew I was proven wrong. I was really hoping this movie would be centered in the 70s. But again, this movie says it's based on a true story. So all of this is true, right? So this family goes to a garage sale, and the daughter finds a nice cool box with some Hebrew writing on the box. They take it home, and suddenly she's possessed. All hell breaks loose. So I really liked the way this movie looked. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan, if I said Stanton, I apologize, but it's Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And he does a really okay job. You know, you get a sense of that there is a family here. It is broken, but there is a family here. And the girls in this movie, they were kind of convincing, especially the young girl who gets possessed. Found her to be a little creepy, and that really helped. And it also is produced by Sam Raimi. So that gave me some hope. But it's not directed by Sam Raimi, which doesn't give me any hope. Once this movie kept going, you learn more of what's happening, and then you find out, yes, this actually ties into something that is Jewish. So instead of being a Catholic possession, this is now a Jewish possession of some demon that is hiding in this box, and once you open the box, boom, done. So I really tried to give this movie a chance. I wanted to be scared. And I can proudly say that this movie is not scary at all. But it's not bad either. Because it looks really good and the performances are okay, it did have the potential of being a decent horror story. But it made a really huge mistake. It said this movie was based on a true story. Now, I don't know what's true about this movie, but what I've seen right now, I don't believe it. Now, I'm a man who does believe in an afterlife. I'm a man who believes in God. But I don't believe that the powers that be that are around us have the time and energy to spook us. Sometimes I think that's all in our mind. And sometimes I think it's fun to tell ghost stories and read books and see movies. I believe all that stuff. If they can do it in a convincing way, I will believe anything. But in real life, I believe there's more scarier things in this world. Like human beings, the control that they have over us and can have. I'm not really too scared. I mean, unless I have a nightmare and I wake up out of it and then suddenly my subconscious has totally convinced itself there's something out there, then I might believe it. But when I'm throughout my daily life, I've never seen anything like that. I do believe that there is a lot of good and bad out there, but they just have better things to do than to go boo or possess us or scare us. I just don't buy into it unless it's like a really good movie or book that they've convinced me with some great characters and some great settings, and if it's a movie they use some really good music and they have a really cool story to tell, and then it's convincing. But this is just another example that I understand why some of my friends say horror movies are stupid. I watch this and I go, they're right, horror movies are stupid. But there's so many other good ones. There was a really good horror movie that came out this year called Cabin in the Woods that gave you this whole idea of the behind the scenes of a horror movie. And maybe there's some workings, like this whole company that's behind this. That was extremely fascinating. And last year, there was an amazing ghost story called Insidious that convinced the hell out of me that everything that was happening on screen was real. And from Sam Raimi, who directed 2009's Drag Me to Hell, bought every minute of that film. Brilliant film. This is just a movie that you can stamp Sam Raimi's name on it and maybe people will go see it. But this is not a really good movie at all. It's very bland, it's very boring. The girl who gets possessed does a decent job, but I felt really insulted by this film because, yes, it tried, I just never bought into this story at all. And also I felt kind of weird about the Jewish stuff going on. I think they wasted their time with that, and I think there are so many amazing stories about the Jewish faith and about Jewish people in general that they could have done instead of making this piece of trash. Okay, maybe it's not trash. It's good looking. It's worth maybe seeing on cable, but don't go to the theater to see this movie. Hopefully there'll be a better scary movie coming up really soon, because I believe horror films can be the best films ever. I'm going to give Possession 2 stars. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Twitter and Facebook, and please go to WeLiveFilm.com and subscribe right here on YouTube to We Live Film. And please go to WhoYouTube.com.